welcome to the Grandia Anna stream. This is a special one because we have a amazing guest with us today, Sam the Southern Gentleman. Sam the Sega Southern Gentleman.
I am the Southern Sega Gentleman, the SSG. You don't even have to try to keep saying Southern and all that stuff, dude. I never even call myself that anymore.
SSG. He is the SSGs.
There
Ask
you go,
G's.
brother. There you go, brother.
But yeah, I'm pretty excited. We got a pretty cool stream today. We are streaming Grandia. So as for you that don't know, I guess in the know that this game is a fairly interesting one, as basically the translation patch just dropped last night.
That is affirmative.
Yep. We got a guy in the chat. What's up, Pat? Sam, rocking one of the best RPGs I've seen of all time. So that's always a good thing. Got a couple people in the chat, so that's pretty interesting. So yeah, let's get into it. So, I guess we basically messed around with it quite a bit. Last night or something, right?
Yeah. Give me 1 second, and I will give a little bit of history. Okay.
I gotcha. But yeah, I just wanted to go into sort of us like messing about with it and just discovering it a bit, I guess.
Trying to share this out. I don't want my mechanical keyboard all over the mic.
I gotcha. Fair enough. All right. So yeah, I guess I'll just talk a little bit about it. So I guess a little bit about our experiences. So yeah, I was sitting at a movie theater last night. I was in the movie theater, was about to go in, and I saw Sam send a message, essentially saying, "Hey, there's a new patch out for Grandia." I was like, "Wait, what?" And I checked it out, and it was pretty interesting. It was basically just I guess a beta patch. Like, it was only the first disc. But I mean, it was something, and we were surprised it dropped because we talked a little bit about it on the stream, or a little bit about it on the podcast, our last podcast about translations, which I thought was interesting. We went a little bit into it. Sam's getting a little bit more in-depth information about it, so doing that searching, checking out. So, but yeah, I played along with a little bit. So we had some issues at first because the patch kept hanging after the intro, but. But after we got that sorted, we were able to get it running. The guy dropped a updated patch, and we're able to actually play it and get farther.
That's affirmative. And I see Rex up in here, Mr. Excito. That's my boy, Mr. Matt.
Gotcha.
These are some of my peoples. Let me go ahead, and I'll be covering a lot of this in my video. But basically, the developer behind this project, who is Trekkies Unite 113, so he's a nerd like the rest of us, he has been working on this project for the better part of a year and a half, 2 years, I believe. He has an amazing blog, and also I just want to give a shout out to my boy Nuno of the Saturn Junkyard. He has an awesome video he dropped earlier on how to patch the game. Now, what I want to make clear is that after discussing with the developer last night, he wanted me to emphatically state the fact that this is an early, and I mean early build, okay? At its current progress, the first disc is 100% complete effectively. What that basically means is that everything is there that needs to be there. However, there's a lot of bugs still, there's a lot of issues and quirks that could cause hangups, could cause freezing, all kinds of issues. But basically, the developer has effectively created a call to action. He wants the community to engage with him, and that's why he's put this out here in its current state. He wants us to beta test it, and what we're doing right now, and report back any issues we have so that he can try to get this project, finished in a timely manner. I'm sure people are going to be out there going, well, what the hell's the point of even playing Grandia on the Saturn? I mean, it's a PS1. I mean, you can play it on the PS1, you can play it on the PS2, PS3. You can download it. They got a remaster in the works. But I mean, this is a Sega Saturn game. This is a game that was designed specifically for the Sega Saturn. In fact, its prototype engine is what was used in Gun Griffon. And if you thought I was going to get out of this without talking about Gun Griffon, you were sorely mistaken.
All right, so I think I made a mistake bringing on the cast, so I'm gonna have to ask you to leave now. But no, I thought that was really interesting. I had no idea that this was actually a prototype engine, or the same basis engine for Gun Griffon. That's insane.
It is, dude. I mean, like, It's an entirely different part two win. Part two is currently in production. I have to finish twin stick video, which hopefully will be out tomorrow. I doubt it, but it will be out in the next couple of days. Um, Kind of this right here just kind of jumped out of nowhere, and I was just like, I've got to talk about this because I absolutely am just like ecstatic about this.
Jumped out like a
Um,
right hook to the face.
Dude, I saw Grandia like yesterday morning on Facebook. I saw three different posts talking about calls of action, prototype build, and I was just like, oh my God, Jesus fucking Christ. Um, so yeah, I kind of lost my stuff, and on top of that, my wife had a blowout yesterday and bent her rim up and all kinds of crap, and I had to go save her and go to the rescue. Daddy had to go rescue the wife and the daughter, so that kind of put the video on hold, and then this happened, and I'll talk about it more up in the video, but I had major issues trying to get this game to work. Initially I should say. I'm not gonna show it. I'm not gonna talk about everything I'm gonna talk about in my video, but the thing with it is though is that a lot of people have wanted Grandia for a long time. I mean, a long time. It sucks because, I mean, for all intents and purposes, Grandia could have come to America. It was a late '97 release, but the thing with it is that, and I talked about this in my RE2 video, is that, and most people know it who are in the Sega Saturn community. By late 1997, the Sega Saturn was dead in Western markets. There was very, very little chance that this game was ever going to see light of day on the Sega Saturn in the West. And to kind of conflate that issue, you have good old Bernie Stoller, the Sega Saturn is not our future, with his freaking stick up his ass bullshit.
Well, what I can say is the Saturn is indeed our future, and it will continue to be our future for forever and ever.
You're spoiling some of my upcoming videos, dude. You gotta stop that shit.
All I was saying is that the Saturn is our future. I mean, it will always be our future. We joke about it all the time. It's not our future. It will always and forever be our future. And I'm just excited how much stuff is coming out in the last 4 months, right?
Dude, I go ahead. I'm sorry.
Because we have the controllers. We had the Link a Liver Story patches. We had all these announcements for all these patches that are getting worked on. These new games that are dropping. I mean, it's insane.
I mean, dude, I made a whole video about it. 2019 is the year of Saturn. This console is seeing its second birth. I swear to you, it's not just about everything that's happening in the community. It's not just about, the fan translations and everything else. Dude, what it really is, honestly, is that you have an entire generation of gamers who, some of them weren't even born whenever the Saturn was initially released, who are finally seeing this thing and they're jumping on the bandwagon. We have peripherals that allow for backups, and I know people are going to go, well, you got to be talking about it in a legal way. Man, screw that shit, man. There ain't no freaking Blockbuster anymore. People want to play games. You have people finally having the opportunity to play some of these awesome games and doing these awesome things, and it's a renaissance. It is a retro renaissance. The fifth generation is finally getting the love it so deserved, like the fourth and the third generation before it.
I think everyone just finally sucked everything up from the fourth generation, and now we can finally move on after years of waiting for it. Because I mean, just the advancements of technology. I mean, now we've been having FPGA for the Super Nintendo and the Genesis. I mean, I think with how fast the stuff is going, we're gonna get these importance and these things relied on. I mean, the Saturn is like one of the most expensive consoles to collect for now, when it was like nothing back in the day. I mean, it's like
I mean,
Neo Geo. It's like the Neo Geo of Sega almost.
well, it is. It is. Which is kind of funny because honestly, around here you can pick up a Saturn for cheaper than you can pick up a Dreamcast, as crazy as that is. But for some reason the Dreamcast went from like $30 a pop a couple of years ago, and now it's like $75 a pop. I don't understand it, but in a lot of respects, the Sega Saturn never got the love and appreciation it deserved here in America. Period. So to see this huge, I don't know exactly how you would describe it. I mean, it's a renaissance, it's a resurgence. It's people finally seeing what it was, and more so than that, there's people who are finally losing the connotation that the Saturn was a 2D powerhouse. I mean, granted, it was, but people are finally realizing that this console was more than just 2D games and Japanese porn games. I mean, it's got amazing games on it. The technology behind it is absolutely fascinating. Um, and there's so much culture and history behind Sega, especially during that period of time. I mean, Segata San Shiro, y'all. You know, Segata San Shiro, Segata.
Oh
I mean, it's
geez,
just,
karaoke moment going on.
I know, dude, I love it. But what I'm saying is that there's people like me who this was our first true console. I mean, I had a Genesis. I played on the Master System. The Master System was the first console I ever played, but the Saturn the Saturn was my console. The fifth generation was my generation. That was it. And we're finally, I don't mean to bring this back to YouTube, but there's people like you and me, our generation, who are finally getting onto YouTube in a proper way, and we're discussing our history and we're talking about our lives. And there's people like you and me who are finally in their late 20s and their early 30s who are, resonating with this, and they're it's this domino effect, man, and it's absolutely amazing. I love the enthusiasm I see in the community.
It's amazing. This just enthusiasm's going on. I mean, I just
Dude,
I'm in love with it.
I am so freaking hyped, dude. You have no idea, dude. Like, seriously, I was laughing. I made so many mistakes recording my video today. I was laughing so hard because I just love this shit, man. This is absolutely amazing to finally see some of this stuff happening in the community, dude. It's like we have been wanting for so long to see this. Not just this game, but all these other games that are on the horizon. And I mean, like, I don't know, dude. I absolutely love the Sega Saturn and the Sega Dreamcast, and to see them finally. I mean, the Dreamcast has gotten love for years, but to see the Saturn finally walk out of this, obscure console, the Sega's failed console, to see it finally getting the love it deserves, dude. I love it.
Same man, man. You got a lot of enthusiasm, and I am in that same boat. I just can't wait to play all these games, all these RPGs. Waste so much of my time, and have more content for these Anna streams because I love it. But
I know, dude.
yeah. But why don't we get into actually the patch of it a little bit?
Okay.
So I gave us introduction a little bit earlier that just about how we stumble upon and everything. I was curious, what is your thoughts on the patch so far? Like I know like it's beta, of course. It's not like 100% perfect, but I was curious, what are your thoughts on it? Because I'm thoroughly impressed in a way, is for little issues that I've found so far.
Okay, I'm gonna cover most of this in my video, but I mean, it doesn't matter. But the main issues so far that are present in this patch, and like I said again, I want to be very emphatic because the developer wanted me to state it, that this is an early build of the project. What the major issues that he is aware of and that have become apparent is that there's issues with sound. And what I mean by that is the dialogue. There are certain sections where dialogue is spoken, and the spoken dialogue is not necessarily matching up with the text on screen. Now, I don't necessarily know if that's an issue with him not being able to program it properly, or it's just the fact that Japanese and English aren't one for one. So you've got to give time for an English speaker to read. And what he's basically done is he's taken the PS1 script and used it, and he's using Java to actually do the translation. And I don't understand exactly all that. I'm not a huge tech guy. That's more your side of it. But basically, I think there's an issue where to make it to where the script works and flows properly, maybe it's not syncing up because of the fact that Japanese is so much quicker of a language, in all honesty. So there's that issue. There is also the issue of and we'll see it once you finally get to a place to where you can battle, which will be in a minute. I mean, it's going to take you a minute to get there. But
Yeah, I'm just getting the warrior equipment that Gans wants, or Gantz.
I know, dude. I love this. I love it. Whenever I first played this growing up,
Yeah.
it was awesome trying to figure out all this. But
Yeah, one thing I was curious though is I've noticed that there's a lot of lag like walking around the city. Was that present on the PS1 version of it as well? As I have not played the
no,
PS1 version.
no, not necessarily. I mean, the truth of the matter is the PS1 was more capable of doing 3D. Plain and simple. The PS1 was designed to be a 3D system. The Sega Saturn was designed to be a two. It's weird to explain it, but the Sega Saturn was always intended to be 3D. But the way Sega went about trying to implement 3D was originally going to be flash shaded polygons, and then at the last second they were like, "Oh, texture mapping. Let's figure something out." So what they do is they stretch and convert and do all the sprite work. Um, the I don't know. I don't know there, brother. I've never called it the PSX. It's always been the PS1. The PSX to me is a PlayStation 2 DVD HDR machine. I know there's a huge argument in the community about that, but for me, it's always going to be the PS1 or the PlayStation 1.
Why'd they even start calling it the PSX anyways? I was always
Because
curious about that.
originally it was at some points in official documentation described as the PSX. I think the connotation of PS1 comes from the fact that the original mini second generation PlayStation was called the PS1. Yeah, there you go. PlayStation Experimental. I mean, that was an official name for a time. That's just one of those cultural things where some people call it the PSX and some people call it the PS1, as in my instance. For me, it makes more sense to call it the PS1 because you have the PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, and the PSX itself is a system unto itself. So for me, it's conflicting to say PSX. But you do whatever you want. I don't care. I will understand what you're talking about if you say PSX in reference to a PS1 game.
I will call it whatever I please, Sam.
I mean, just call it the gray box.
I will
Turn
call it.
upside
I will
down.
call it the good console. No,
You turn it upside down, bro.
turn it upside down to play games. That's how you play it. Is that how you had to play it when you had one?
I never had a PlayStation until later into the 2000s. I played at my
Funny
buddy's
here.
house.
Same here.
Yeah. Again, Rex. I mean, I know that people in magazines call it the PSX. I know it was. I'm just telling you that most people that I know never call it the PSX. The PS1 is what people call it, or the PlayStation. Inside the retro gaming community, it's a little bit different, but I'm more of a layman who just likes playing retro games and talking about stuff. So, but whatever. I think what was I talking about? You were talking about the slowdown. The issue with slowdown is
Got a little bit off topic.
Yeah, but if you'll look at the shadows, in the game, I want you to walk into an area that has shadows. Walk into an area that has shadows.
I'm trying to find. Okay, yeah, here's one right here.
Yeah, go walk into an area that has
I'm underneath
shadows.
this house. Is that where I need to go?
Okay. All right. Are you upscaling this in any way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, this is through the FrameMeister, so.
Okay. The FrameMeister's gonna. Are you playing it through picture mode or natural mode?
I mean, I'm just playing it through game mode on my TV.
Okay. Never mind. My point is that if you look at this shot versus the shots, the very same position on the PlayStation, you will notice that the shadows are more distinct, that the character models, not the 2D character model that you're looking at of your character, but the models of the buildings have more shadowing effects to them. That's just inherent with how the Saturn produces 3D images versus how the PlayStation produces them. So there are those issues. Another thing that you can showcase is go over to the river.
Yep.
If you go over to the river, you will notice that you have this same scrolling effect. Now, you can see slight transparency, but it's not really transparency. It's really like a half transparency, okay? If you play it on the PS1, you will notice that is a true transparency to the river. So you have the developers for the original development of this game was in regards to the Sega Saturn. It took it, I believe, the Japanese. Hold on, let me think. It was either 1998. I'm trying to. It was 1998. It came out for PlayStation. In Japan, it was 1999 in America, or it was 1999, and then 6 months later for the PlayStation in America. Europe didn't get it on the PlayStation until 2000.
Sadness.
I mean, dude, you got to remember back then it took a long time. It took a long time. That might be correct, Rex. It might be just a layer on top of it. But in the PlayStation version, it is a full transparency for the river. But yeah, I mean, you had during that time a true translation would take a decent amount of time, especially one of these RPGs. I mean, just look how long it took for Magic Knight Ray Earth or for Albert Odyssey or any of the rest of the Sega Saturn games.
Well, to be fair, Magic Knight Ray Earth, when they got it, the code base wasn't complete, so they actually had to complete the code base with their Games Workshop had to finish completing the code that was glitching out because the build they got sent wasn't the right one, and I guess they lost the final build of it. So,
I mean, Albert Odyssey had a very similar issue. Albert Odyssey, there's two discs for it here in America. There's one that has all the characters plus the dragon, and then there's the one that has the dragon on it. The one that has the dragon on it is the one that's not going to lock up on you at the very end of the game. I mean, granted, they both won't sometimes, but the one with all characters on the front has a major issue where the game just basically is non-completable.
I see. So basically, if you get that disc, you're basically I wonder if that affects the price of the game in that case.
No, because most people don't know about that.
I gotcha. So you're gonna have to. It's one of the things you have to look out for.
Yeah, the only reason I even know about it is because I have both discs and I'm a fan of the game. I know Rex hates it. He hates everything that they put out, dude. Like, he absolutely hates working designs.
That's sad. I love working designs. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I actually picked up Lunar 1 on the Sega CD, I think last week.
I did see that. I'm not going to try to speak for Rex, but I do know from what our conversations have been is that he shares something that collectors don't play video games because, sir, they retain them for investment purposes.
Yeah, I mean, same here. I mean, I put that Lunar in like Carbonite. That thing's like. You ever see Powerpuff Girls? I know it's kind of a weird question, but there's this there's this episode with this collector, and he like had this like in a germ-proof environment. And I'm just imagining that's how a lot of collectors are doing that.
I wouldn't doubt it, dude. I would not doubt it in the slightest.
But no, I like collecting, but I love playing more. So I have every intention of playing Lunar 1 and 2, hopefully.
Well, what I was getting to with Rex is that he's not alone in this argument. There's a lot of people who are, how could I explain this? They do not care for the fact that you got, take for instance Albert Odyssey. Albert Odyssey has this huge amount of pop culture references to it. It is not a translation. It is a full localization. See right there, he just said it. That's the deal. Like, some people don't prefer that. They wanted the original script to be fully translated and, you know, localized to the points where it was understanding. You know, but then you've got people like me who just absolutely love the bastardization and westernization of those games.
Oh yeah,
like
no, I got the Lunar CD ones, just the Lunar for Sega CD, just to hear those the Bill Clinton jokes.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, some people find charm in it and absolutely love it, and then you have some people who don't. And you can say the very same thing. I mean, this is an anime stream, so let's talk about anime a little bit. There's the exact same issue with anime. You have people who are 100%, it has to be subtitled, it has to be correct subtitles, translated properly, because otherwise you're losing the meaning of what they're trying to talk about. And for somebody like me, it's like, I'm not a weeb. No offense to anybody who is, but
you are totally a weeb, Sam. You are 100%. No, yep. You're the most obsessive about. You are the most obsessive.
No.
About.
You can claim that name. I am an otaku. I grew up during the era where it was like, I absolutely love anime, but I'm not over here with a freaking wooden sword trying to act like I'm Japanese, bro.
Yeah, the weeb term is really an interesting.
What's up, Secret?
Interesting term, yeah.
Secret.
Yeah, what's up, Mr. Benjamin? We also got Mr. Grumpy Monkey, Mr. Eric. How's it going? Shouts out.
Grumpy's like, nerd.
Oh yeah, no, that's our joke. Like I'll call, like he'll send something to me, and I'll just straight up call him a nerd. Just
that's
like
my boy
nerd.
Benjamin, man. What's up, bub? But what I was trying to say though is that, you know,
you're a weeb. Yeah, I got it. You're a weeb. I know
I'm
it.
not a weeb, right?
You are. We're both weebs, okay?
We're done. No, I'm an otaku. We're done. My point is that I don't care about the Japanese references. I don't care about the information being perfectly just, you know, it doesn't matter to me. I want it to be understandable for me. I want to be able to listen. I do not want to have to read subtitles. So like, I will take a bad dub over a subtitle any day.
I gotcha. Yeah, hey, that's fair enough. I kind of like a lot of some of the what's that called? some of the liberties that they take sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting, I like it, but some people don't, and I appreciate that, and that's understandable. I'm fine with sub or dub. I actually had to argue with argument how they thought that the Eva dub was like the worst dub of all time.
Who the hell said that?
There's a friend of mine said, "Oh, they turned Tanami Sato into a valley girl. The characters keep going in and out of their voices, sound Canadian."
You're talking about Evangelion.
Yeah,
Oh my god, dude! Like the dub of Evangelion is perfect for a Western audience. Like, period. There is nothing wrong with that dub. Do not touch that dub. Do not redub that freaking thing. Like, the platinum release done by ADV Films all the way back in 2004 is the way you should listen to that in English. Period.
I gotcha. Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of that. I'm really excited to see what Netflix does, though. Apparently, they are redubbing it, but they're hoping that they get the original voice actors back. But nobody knows.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if they redub it and don't have the original characters, I mean, for one, I don't even care, dude. I have the collector's edition, I have the VHS, I have the original movies by manga, I have the platinum release, I have the platinum release box, I have the mangas. Like, I don't even care about Netflix.
I gotcha. You got your Eva taste. You got the Eva.
Dude, I like that's why whenever people were talking about it's so hard to find Evangelion, I was just kind of like in shock, because I'm just, what do you mean it's hard to find Evangelion, dude? Like, I've got all this crap over here.
Well, the thing is, the box sets are like $100+ were back in the day. I mean,
dude, I bought mine whenever they first came out for like $50-$60. I don't know, like, I don't know. Maybe it was different in different areas, but I bought all my stuff from Best Buy and Suncoast.
I gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like a newer generation. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I got into Eva fairly recently. Like, I've watched like bits and pieces on Adult Swim, but I really sat down and watched it around was it 2015? Actually, yeah, when it takes place. So it's yeah.
I think that's kind of part of the issue, is that a lot of people are just now getting into Ava. They've been getting into Ava in the last 4 or 5 years, and like, the best way I can explain it is, I think a lot of it has to do with YouTube. You have a lot of people in the past couple of years who have really been doing these pretty good. I'm not gonna always say they're great, but pretty good, in-depth video essays of sorts, describing certain assets of it, certain aspects of the series, what things mean and everything. Not just a simple review, but actually diving in deep. Something that me, as an Ava fan, have been doing since the early 2000s. Discussing the culture inside of the series, discussing the attribution of Christianity and other Eastern religions into it, the meaning behind everything. So a lot of what's been said on YouTube has basically been said for almost 20 years online, but no one's ever really put it to video. And YouTube is a huge medium now, especially for communicating. So I see that as bringing in a lot of new people to the fandom. The thing with it is, though, is that, like, Ava's not for everybody. So I'm kind of hesitant to wonder, or rather think, what exactly is going to happen whenever everybody that's never seen Ava finally sees it. And because I mean, it's a trudge. Like, the first 4 or 5 episodes are a trudge. I mean, granted, it kind of like just throws you in there at one point, but it like, the series of Ava itself can basically be broke up into 3 or 4 different sections.
Yeah, you know what? I never really had an issue with the first part at all. Like, the first 4, I really was into it, like that whole universe. But I guess maybe I'm a different type of person, I suppose.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's like your mileage may vary. Some people can get really invested really quick, but I think the issue becomes is that the first 4 or 5 episodes, they're more, that they are centered on the story. You've got, I look at Ava like this. There's 3 sections, okay? There is the good section, which is up to about either episode 15 or 16, and then you have, or maybe, I don't know, there's like, you got that Jet Alone episode, which is completely pointless for the most part. In fact, it's not even covered in the manga.
Wait, which one is that?
It's the episode where it's titled Jet Alone, and it's got the robot that's powered by a nuclear reactor.
Oh, that episode was really good, though.
I mean, yeah, it's a good episode, but I mean, it has absolutely no bearing on the actual story, minus a few scenes that are kind of detailing, how Masato and Professor basically communicate with each other. That's basically it. It's like 15 seconds worth of that video, worth of that episode goes towards the progression of the story.
I gotcha. Yeah, man, I'm really appreciating this part right here with the dinner table conversation. It's pretty interesting, like go back and forth and learn the story. You don't have to like digest it all at once and miss something, you know?
I love how Rex is like, I don't like Ava. I don't like Gunbuster. I'm just like, dude, Gunbuster, Diebuster, and Ava is life.
Dude, I'm right now I'm watching Outlaw Star for the first time. It's really interesting.
I just don't understand how you're just now seeing this stuff.
Well, to be honest, I just didn't have access to it.
But I mean, you grew up with Cartoon Network and Toonami, didn't you?
Yeah, but I didn't at one point I kind of stopped like once Naruto came out. I just like cut off, but like I don't know, like I think I just cared about Dragon Ball Z and a few other ones. But either way, I'm glad I'm just getting into it and watching it. It's giving me more to watch, I suppose.
I got you. I misread what Rex said. I apologize about that, man. I don't know, dude. Like that's the thing. Ava's an acquired taste. Some people like it, some people don't. Some people think it's very, very just dull, and other people think it just drones on for too long. And it does have an issue where in the middle of it is very just it kind of derails the entire series. You have to make it through about 4 episodes to get back into the story, and some people get killed by that. I mean, they can't handle it. Some people do like ketchup potato chips, but I don't see Ava as ketchup potato chips. I see it as a very
It's
well
a filet
done,
mignon.
yeah, very rare filet mignon.
Yeah, it's very very interesting. I was always curious. I don't think I ever asked you about this. But what's your opinion on episodes 24, 25, or is it 25 and 26?
The last 2 episodes,
Yeah.
they are base.
Because I meant like your opinion on how you feel about it. I understand that they're supposed to be like events in Shinji's head and it takes place during end of Eva, but like what's your opinion of it?
The whole reason that you have those 2 episodes the way they are is because of budget cuts. That's it. Yeah, some people make the argument for creative. It's because they had budget cuts. They didn't have no money for animation anymore. Um, and I, like a lot of other fans of the series, absolutely hate those 2 episodes. Um,
I know I
I
kind
can
of feel the opposite. I like it because it's like it's supposed to be like the argument inside of his head. It's supposed to be him, fighting himself and learning to love himself again. I guess or
I mean,
move on.
if you take into account, or rather, you look at it as those 2 episodes are basically detailing the events of Third Impact in Shinji's head, then yeah, I can see that. However, for me, the end of Evangelion was a much better representation of the finality of the series, and that cliffhanger with Brown Eye Masato Asuka mix up, whatever the hell she is, because that's definitely not Asuka anymore. That is something else. That in my opinion was the proper way to end the franchise. But then again, I'm also someone who sees the rebuilds as post Third Impact and not a retelling.
I gotcha. Yeah, it's looks like he has a 480i switch in it in this game
It does.
because I
Yeah.
just lost a lot of signal doing that.
Yeah, no. It does. Whenever you go, the game itself is 480p. I mean, the game itself is 240p, but the
Yeah.
overhead menu is 240i.
I gotcha.
The world map, I should say.
Gotcha. So how do I get to this battle? I'm just wandering around town right now.
Okay, what are you trying? Okay, where are you at right this second?
I'm just right. I just got back from the bridge. I'm over the other bridge that was being blocked.
Okay, go across the bridge that's now unblocked.
Oh no, that's where I am.
Okay, you need to go inside of the restaurant, which is your house. You've already done that, correct?
Uh,
You've already no. You need to go to the library. That's where you need to go. Find the railroad. The railroad's to the east.
I gotcha.
Find the railroad.
Yeah, I'm on the railroad and I'm underneath the tracks right now.
Okay, now keep going east.
I gotcha.
No. Turn around. You're going outside the map. Turn around. I meant west. Go west.
I gotcha. So I'm right by the train station right now.
Keep going. You're gonna go all the way to the river, and you're gonna take a left. I mean, a right. Excuse me. And you're gonna
Right.
find yourself at a metal building, which is the library. You got to go up in there and talk to the curator.
I gotcha. The Great General Museum. The museum, you mean?
Yeah, the museum. There's a curator in there.
I gotcha. Actually, get the stone thing, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, you're not. I mean, you're getting the stone, but you also got to get your letter of whatchamacallit. So you can go to the final area. I mean, not the final area, but
The
so
final
you can
area,
go
I
to
can complete the game that fast.
yeah, you complete the game that fast. Complete skip. We're doing speed run tactics, y'all.
Speed run 101, guys. We're gonna hack this game, get to the last disc somehow.
Of course, whenever I was playing it, I basically ended up. What is the name of that area? Crap. I just had it in my head. But I made it there, and that's where I saved the game and finished it. Like, I'd saved a couple of times before that. I did a lot of testing when I was doing my run. I played about an hour and a half to get to that point, and it was me trying to engage every single NPC, trying to do everything I possibly could to try to make the game break itself, which I couldn't yet.
I gotcha. Yeah, to be honest, the only issue I've been noticing is the out of sync voices, but besides that, everything seems very well done.
Oh yes, this is looking to be very promising, and I the dude said when I asked him, when do you have a possible ETA on this, and he basically said, it's going to be done when it's done. But considering the fact that he effectively already has everything he needs, for the translation, it's just really going to be ironing out bugs. This is probably hopeful on me, but I wouldn't doubt it if we see a Disc 2 beta in the next couple of months, especially if this shows a lot of promise from the feedback he gets from the community.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really enjoying it so far, and I think I have to give really good feedback to this. I mean, to be honest, even if the out of sync cutscenes were a side effect of being able to play it, I would not even care because the fact that I'm playing it is good enough for me. Like, I mean, yeah,
Right.
maybe it goes out of sync. It's not the most, the most on point, but I'm able to play this game,
Exactly, that's the point.
and that's all I really wanted. Because I mean, I imagine people are gonna be play this game using guides for the longest time, so now we can actually have that English option and not worry about that stuff.
Dude, I can't do guides. I can't do it. Like, it just takes me entirely out of it.
I gotcha. Yeah, yeah, that's why I'm kind of excited for Score Wars. Is that I'd love to play it without a guide and actually enjoy playing it,
Right.
Gotcha. Curators hope for me. Gotcha. Gonna be adventuring. I really didn't know his name was Justin though.
In the
Kinda
English
weird.
translation, it is. I'm thinking in the Japanese, it's something different.
It sounds like it's saying Justin, but maybe it's like a mispronunciation.
It might. I don't know. I've never played the Japanese version for more than 15 minutes. I hate using guides. It takes me out of the game entirely. It's like it'd be the exact same thing as me trying to use a guide to run through a game in English. I know what's coming up. I know how it's going to happen. It's not experiencing the game at that point. It's just walking me through it. It's a walkthrough.
Yeah, and it's like you're still confused. I actually like this effect where you run into stuff and like
Dude,
things knocked over.
you can interact with it also. You don't have to run into it. Just get by it, and then you can hit
Yeah.
I believe it's C, and you can move stuff like that.
Gotcha. You can't move in the bookshelf,
So with your experience so far, granted you haven't actually made it to the fighting area, correct?
No.
Like, okay, so even on your previous playthroughs you haven't.
This is the second time I'm playing it.
Did you make it to the next area where you actually had a chance to fight yet?
No, I literally just this is the farthest I've gotten in this game so far.
Okay. All right, here's the deal. Knowing that you haven't actually gotten involved with the combat system,
Mhm.
from what you've gathered so far, do you think you enjoy this more so, or Grandia 2, or have you even had a chance to play Grandia 2?
I have not had a chance to play Grandia 2 yet, unfortunately.
Have you played Grandia 3?
Nope, played none of the Grandias. My first Grandia.
Wow, you're going to be really interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see how you deal with the combat system.
I'll figure it out. I mean, this is sort of just a first impression. more just to sort of show it off and talk a little bit about it and see my experiences, I guess, firsthand.
Right. I mean, it's not that it's a complicated one per se. It's just that it's different. It's kind of like a mixture between real time and turn based almost. It's turn based, but it's got the aspects of a real time.
I gotcha. Yeah, no, is it like any other combat system, or is it just completely different?
I really can't think of anything that really does Grandia's combat system the way Grandia does. You're just gonna have to experience, dude. I mean, it's not that it's overly complicated or anything. It's just you have moving positions. You have you have different aspects. Whether you want to guard, you want to use magic, heavy attack. You got your magic aspects, potions, etc., etc. But you also have like a timing mechanic on top of that. So there's a range, timing, and all this other stuff. You're just gonna have to play it. I'm not the best of explaining it, but it's different.
I gotcha. Yeah, I imagine I can figure it out. I mean, I mean, yeah, I might die a couple times, but you know what? It's part of the fun of the stream, right?
Yeah, you shouldn't die in the first area. My suggestion to you though is that before we leave town, you need to go and buy a different weapon from your wooden sword. That way you can actually do some real damage.
I gotcha.
You should have 300 gold, and that should be enough to get you the secondary sword in the shop. And besides that, you really don't need anything else because, what's her name? I can't remember what her name is. She has an arrow attack. She also has a magic attack where that little dude that's on her back, basically she throws them at people. She's good with magic for healing and stuff like that. And if you get that second sword for Justin, it basically makes him into a hell of a powerhouse, especially in that first area.
Nice. Yeah, I'll go head to the store after I guess after this, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Hopefully he doesn't find that statue, or else he's just gonna have a heart attack.
Oh, don't worry, he'll be having a heart attack.
It reminds me of the you ever see that picture? It's like the guy watching that jump scare thing, that old man who's like gonna get my inheritance early.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, I'm gonna go to the store, dropping jokes, joke cast. But yeah, no, this game seems really interesting so far. I mean, it's just the first area, but you know, it's a little bit more engaging than my last stream with Magical Girl Ueda, for sure.
Well, that fan translations are great, but depending on the game type, they don't necessarily correlate well. I mean, take for instance, Magical Girl Utna. It's more of like it's kind of just like an interactive movie of sorts.
Yeah, it was really funny to gauge my reaction of it as well. Just like oh geez, this is.
I mean,
awful.
I enjoyed the anime. I mean, way back when, but I mean, it's a very Japanese game.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely is, but it's
okay,
still pretty fun.
whoa, hold on, turn around.
Go back on that bridge area.
You need to go back by your house. You're gonna go by your house. Look at your front door. You're gonna take a right. Excuse me. I'm freaking all dyslexic.
I got you. Just trying to find my house.
Your house is on the other side of the river.
Oh, okay, I see. Gotta cross the river. Crossing the river.
You can tell I played this game a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. No, it's like just trying to figure this out. Oh, I just went out. Oh, there we go. I actually went out. Getting that 480i switch. So.
I was honestly really intrigued to see, because I played this game a lot on the PlayStation 1. Well, rather I played it on the PlayStation 2, but I was playing my PS1 disc. I was really interested to see if there was any real differences. That's one thing that I was looking at. And I mean, honestly, it's a 1-for-1. Okay, hold on. Don't go up inside there. All right, go to your house, which is... Stop moving for a second. I can tell you where it's at. All right. The stream's behind. Okay, your house is by the center of town, which is by the waterfall, which is to the west of your position.
The west, okay. Yeah, so by the waterfall. Oh, the waterfall, okay.
In the center of town.
Center of town.
Okay. If you'll stop moving for a second,
I'm trying to catch
up, I will tell you. I'm just telling you, if you'll stop moving for a second, I can tell you where to go.
Blue Marlin, is it the Blue Marlin restaurant?
Yes.
I gotcha.
No. Look.
Oh no, it's not there.
Just stop moving. Dude, just let me help you. Stop moving.
Alright, I'm in front of the Blue Marlin restaurant. I'll stay there until you watch it.
Okay, it's like the stream's like a couple of seconds. All right. You're spinning. You've got to stop. Just okay. All right. To the red, if you look up at the compass, the
Yeah.
red indicator is north. You're
Yeah.
gonna go west of your current position right now.
I gotcha. So gonna go down a bit. There
Yes.
you go. There you go. So I'm in front of that water fountain. I'm guessing it's one of these ones.
Yes, it is. It should be the 2-story one. That's your house. Don't go inside of it.
The Lily Seagal one.
That's your house. Do not go inside of it.
I
To
gotcha.
your right, walk right, and you will see a building that has a shop door. That is the shop.
I gotcha. Shop door.
It's keep going to the right.
I gotcha. Just gotta keep looking around for it.
It's to the right though. It's not off in the distance. It's
I gotcha,
literally
to the right.
in front of your house to the right.
The Lily's house? The Sue's
Look.
house?
Look at Sue's house and go
Yeah.
to the right.
Okay. Oh, that's just confused. Okay, there it is right there then. Parm General House.
There you
Fran
go.
Johnson.
We got a whole bunch of new people in the stream. We're having to give directions to Pat. That's how it works.
Gotcha. Just trying to figure it out.
I know.
You know.
I know, dude.
I'm
I
figuring
know.
it out. Just give 'em
I
some,
know,
man.
I know. I was just trying to tell you how to get there.
Slacking.
Otherwise, you've been running around for a minute.
All right. You gonna buy that bat? I'm guessing that's the one that you meant to buy.
Yeah, buy the metal bat.
Gotcha.
And you're going to want to equip it to Justin.
There we go. Justin has the metal bats.
There you go.
Right. Check it. Oh, that's settings. Okay. There we go. Double checking. He's got. Oh, man, this. I wonder why they set the confirm button to C. Is that a Japanese thing or? Man,
Yeah. That's all Japanese.
I gotcha. Alrighty then. So I got the bat. So am I going out to adventure or what?
Yep, you're going to go out to the area, the first area you can go to, and that is going to be basically a big open field that you're going to have to fight a whole bunch of centipedes and flies.
I gotcha. So I'm on that map. Do I just? Is there like a place I can go? Because it says Marna Road, but it doesn't. Oh, I guess it does let me go there.
Yeah, that's where
that's
you're going.
weird. That's weird. It's weird. Alright, sweet. I'm gonna save for no reason. Overwrite that. 49 minutes. Yeah, somebody put in interesting things like the graphics in the Saturn version just feels that much more right than the PS1 version. I guess I can kind of see it.
No, I mean, that's the truth because it does 2D so much better. Like, it just does it better. The engine was originally designed for it. I mean, they had to read it. They did a port. It was a port of this that is what made its way to the PlayStation. They didn't rebuild the game.
Oh, okay, I can dig this system.
Yeah, you see what I'm talking about?
Not too bad.
It's turn-based, but it's got aspects of real time.
It's interesting.
And this is what I'm talking about with the actual screen having certain aspects that are still Japanese.
Yeah, it's very Japanese on that screen.
Yeah. And on top of that, whenever you're actually going through the combat motions, if you look up in the upper left-hand screen, you can see where the character names are in Japanese. You can also see where the commands are in Japanese on the scroll wheel. Now that's aspects I don't know if he can change that because that's hard-coded into the image, so I don't know if he can change that.
Probably not. I mean, unless he finds way to texture hack it, you know?
That's what I'm saying. He'd have to do some kind of texture hack, and I don't know if he could actually do that. I mean, I'm sure it could be done, but I mean, we're talking about at that point actually not just patching the game per se to some extent, like with the because somebody mentioned is it got English audio. I don't know a actual Japanese translation that has English audio yet. I don't even know if that is really feasible. I mean, I'm sure you could do it, but I mean, at that point, you're really reprogramming a game to a very extensive degree.
In all honesty, I kind of like the Japanese audio. I mean, we already have the English thing on the PS1. Also, I like how that the text is your initiative's like off by a ton.
Yeah, there's issues about stuff going on, but I mean, there's nothing that's game breaking by any means.
Yeah, no, it's all playable. The only thing is that it's kind of hard to see what these attack things are doing. So like this, the sword versus the sword with like a star at the end of it, I have no idea.
The sword with a sword and a star. That's basically your heavy attack. That's what I was getting at.
I gotcha. Sounds good. Dodai. Yeah. But yeah, so so that image is hard coded right there. The Justin and I guess that's their names or something.
That's what I'm saying. That's hard coded. You know, I don't know if he'd actually be able to change that without changing the entire texture.
I gotcha. I mean, as long as it's not necessary to complete the game, I mean, it should be fine.
I mean, it isn't. I mean, like, stop what you're doing and go to the menu before a centipede kills you.
I already got that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, whenever you get a chance and you're out of combat, look, just find the road and run down the road towards the west, and that because I mean, this area right here is just really like an introductory level. You're not gonna gain. You can farm it as long as you want to.
Yeah.
It's not really necessary. You're not gonna get a whole bunch of XP from these guys.
I gotcha. No, I'm just trying to experience it a little bit.
Yeah.
So to get the combat system on film and sort of show people what it's like. Give an example. So yeah, there we go. Got that. Alright, it's gonna be a weird stream. We just talked about Eva for like a good 5 minutes straight.
I mean, dude. It's Anna's stream.
It is Anna's stream. Alright, so I'm on the menu. So what did you want me to take a look at?
Okay, if you'll notice on the menu, everything is in English. Like,
Yeah.
but if you notice on Justin and Sue both for their names, the first letters are off. I don't know if that's supposed to be that way or if that was an issue with him changing the actual hard-coded image. So the fact that he could do it there leads me to believe he could possibly do it elsewhere. I just, it's just a matter of what he's willing to do. Because, I mean, it's honestly not even necessary.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather just have it played with some Japanese text over it than that, but I think he wants it complete, just have it like perfect looking, like it's an actual translation.
Matt, you missed like a 20-minute conversation about Ava, dude.
Ambushed. Okay, so this is ambush looks good.
Ambush means you're on the defense.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that the text looks good.
Yeah.
Killed that thing. I'm imagining that says critical or whatever.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Matt, I am well aware that those are your favorite, brother.
Nerd. No. I'd be hypocritical if I said that because I am also a nerd. Ooh,
I'm a geek.
I'm a nerd. Oh my god, man. But no, it's stop. I really love the art style of this game though. It's amazing. I actually kind of want to pick it up on the PS1 though now. I mean, I already have this, but
You got an emulator for PS1?
No, just an actual PS1.
So the Mister doesn't play PS1 games.
No, it doesn't. Unfortunately, not yet. Anyways, it's probable.
So sad. So sad.
Well, I mean, you have to give it some time. They already got 4th gen down. They're working on. They barely have gotten like the Neo Geo going. I mean, you gotta give them some time, man.
I mean, personally though, and I talked about this on my video. It's not, what's the point of real hardware? And I was really glad that Dave brought it up. I'm just not the biggest guy about emulation, dude. I just do. It's like this new Sega Genesis Mega Drive Mini, dude. I am just no, just stop it. Stop doing it.
I mean, it's for certain people, but the certain people aren't us.
What they need to do is they need to release a brand new Sega Saturn with a fully functional CD drive and an HDMI cable out and an Ethernet port so I can download games. That's what they need to do.
Gotcha. Well, they got something similar to that. It's called the Rhea and Framemeister.
Nah, bruh. Nah, Sega needs to do it. I promise you right. No, we're not even talking about consoles. If Sega would pull their head out of their ass and actually reprint games, do you realize how much money they would make?
Yeah, I think it'd be hard to do that though. But I mean, you gotta realize that we're not the biggest community. They know that the effort that they put into something like the Genesis Mini versus something like that to that extent, it's more worth it just to do that because the Saturn wants to get sales, but what?
Reprinting games would be a hell of a lot cheaper than designing a emulation box and marketing it and selling it.
Well, it depends if they can even do that. If they are even able to replicate that wobble again.
I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. They have all the information available. They have all the technology available. All they'd have to do is basically set up, and there's still plenty of people who press CDs. So if they could do that right there and sell it, I mean, dude, that would be a hell of a. Now the Dreamcast is an entirely different issue because of the GD-ROM, but with the Saturn at least, you're still dealing with CDs. Um, I mean, shit, Square Enix does it. Square Enix still has silvers they sell that are brand new. Now, whether they're still in production or that's just new old stock, but my point is that people still do it.
Yeah, it the cool thing about those is that, you know, I mean, even the PS2 was reprinted recently. I mean, you see the Yakuza got a reprint like I think it was like a year or two ago, right?
That's what I'm saying, dude. It's like it's well within the possibility of actually happening for them to do something like that. It's just a matter of them, doing it. And Sega I love Sega to death, but I love the old Sega, not the new Sega.
Gotcha. But the Sakura Wars looks pretty good though. I'm excited about that.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. Like I would never. If that's what somebody's really into, that's cool. I'm not a big fan of Sakura Wars. For one, I never really experienced the original games, but there's so many people who want to play these games, and a lot of people see these emulation boxes, these minis and classics as a way to do that. But you're stuck with 20 games that some of them are good, some of them are bad. I mean,
I think it's 40 games in the mini. There's 40 games in the new Genesis Mini.
I mean, that's great, but how many Genesis clone consoles do we already have?
Too many.
That's my point.
And we don't really know the quality of it either. But Matt put a good Matt put a good point. I think. Let me see. It's like it doesn't really matter. I mean, as long as we're playing the games, it's what matters. It's not about the hardware or emulation. It's all about the games, straight up. And I kind of agree with him. Well,
yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is that hardware emulation with the Mister is probably going to be the only way we play some of these games in the future. Well, I mean, just not the Mister exactly, but like that concept, I guess.
I mean, that's true. I mean, these consoles are dying. I've lost 2 Saturns in the past year, and I have one that's effectively dead right now because of a controller port issue. So, I mean, that's always been my crux of my argument whenever it comes to these minis and classics. It's like, you're creating emulation boxes, but the technology is readily available and very cheap to recreate what you had 20 years ago. I just think a company's going to have to take a chance on it and see how well it works out. I mean, I hate to bring up PlayStation Classic again, but I mean, shit, it didn't sell well at all. I mean, the only ones that really sold well are the Nintendo and the Super Nintendo. Those are the only ones who've really sold well.
Well, yeah, they're Nintendo. Everyone cares about them.
That's what I'm saying. So I mean, everybody else is just jumping on a bandwagon right now, and it's honestly sad to see because
yeah,
I mean, it doesn't even have to be a reprint or a new console. Just make your games available again. Like the retro market is huge now. I mean, it is a legitimate market now, and these companies that are wanting money. I mean, that's what they're all about. They want money. So, I mean, just
but yeah, they just want easy money. I mean, if they know that they know that for the general population, a Genesis Mini would sell better than a new copy of Magic Knight Ray Earth or something of that nature.
Well, I'm just gonna say this, and I'm not gonna talk about it anymore. Analog needs to fucking get their shit right and get on it.
Well, no, that's the rumors are that the next one they're gonna do is either the Neo Geo or the PS1, if they do another one on top of that.
They need to do a Saturn. PS1's got plenty of ways to play it.
Yeah, I think that might be a little bit more complex with a FPGA implementation, but we'll have to see. Kevtris is pretty magical, so I wouldn't put it past them to figure out a way.
I mean, I'm dreaming. I mean, I know that. I mean, I'm shooting for the stars, but I'm just saying the PS5 has pretty much been confirmed backwards compatible on every single console of the PlayStation.
That's
so
insane.
I mean, there is absolutely no reason whatsoever for anybody to do anything with the PlayStation. The PlayStation can be played right now. There's PlayStation Classics on the PS3 and the PS4. There's PS2 Classics on the PS4. There is like no reason whatsoever to even touch that. Not
And
because I don't like
there's no
PlayStation.
Saturn classics either. There's no Saturn classics or anything of that nature.
There's nothing Saturn. There is nothing Saturn except for Polymega, which at this point I'm just gonna laugh my ass off whenever they finally release that thing.
Yeah, I'm not really looking forward to that. I mean, I talked to the guy when Ben and I went to E3. We talked to him a little bit, and it seemed promising at first and interesting to the point where Ben pre-ordered it. But then, like, it just one thing after another. They did a whole redesign. It's like, yeah, I don't want an emulation box. I want like a FPGA or something. I mean, that's what I really want. I don't want all this crap, you know?
I mean, and right now, I mentioned this on my page, on my Facebook page the other day, is that they are, whoever's doing their PR is like just they're stupid. Like I don't know how else to explain it, man. You are going out of your way to attack other companies that have proven track records, and you're gonna throw all this shade at them, saying that, oh, well, we can do this and blah blah blah. And you can't, FPGA is not our future. Like Bernie Stoller in this crap, and I'm just like, well, man, what you've got so far is a bunch of tech, which doesn't even really look like it's real. And of course, in the past couple of days, they put out a couple of videos where they showcased them putting CDs in and uploading and playing things. And, that's great and everything. But I mean, Sega Saturn emulation isn't the greatest. I mean, you can emulate, but I mean, it's not the greatest. It's nowhere near as compatible as like the PS1.
Yeah, I have no idea what their issues are, but like they need to like fix that immediately. Like, jeez.
I just call it like I see it, man. They about some idiots.
I gotcha. So I guess I gotta show them the stupid letter thing.
Yo, is that Dave?
Dave's in here? Yeah.
My boy.
Hey Dave, how's it going? Unless it's like another Dave, like a fake Dave.
No, that's Dave. Dave, if you could possibly get into the chat, you need to come save me, bro. Otherwise, I can fully understand and appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully he's enjoying it. Alright, how do I give him this letter though?
Okay.
Oh, never mind, there he goes. I got it.
Yeah, there you go. You got it. You just walk up to him and talk to him. It pretty much takes itself.
She looks very angry.
Oh, she is beyond angry. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I love this sprite work.
Sprite? I want a Sprite. Do you got some Sprite?
I got some Dr. Pepper and some sweet tea and some coffee.
Ugh. Pass.
And coffee's life, man.
I'd rather have a nice cold Coke. Any day. Yeah, I'm a big fanatic of Coca-Cola, but I have to cut down on it because it's like way too much sometimes.
I mean, I don't know. I drink like 2 pots of coffee a day.
I gotcha. Oh wow. Yeah, mostly my diet's like water right now and a soda once in a blue moon.
Yeah, you go ahead and have yourself a little 2-year-old girl who likes to get sick all the time and stays up until the crack of dawn. You'll be looking for that IV drip, bro.
Yeah, well, I definitely agree with you. I do need coffee once in a while, but I love like the specialty drinks like the caramel macchiatos and things of that nature.
Ah, you one of those guys.
It's really good. I love them. They're really delicious.
I'm just messing with you, dude. I love me some the caramel macchiato and the mocha whatever. I'll go to Starbucks and get those from time to time. But yeah, be honest with you, dude. Like, I'm not about paying $6 for a cup of coffee every day.
Oh yeah, no, it's not every day. It's like those days where you get to work and it's like you're exhausted, and it's like a long night and you just need some little pick me up.
Right.
Because if you rely too heavily on the caffeine, you'll need it, and then you have to like wean yourself off of it to actually have it work anymore.
Oh, dude, at this point, if I was to stop drinking coffee, man, I'd probably go into shock.
Yeah.
I would go through the DTs all over again.
Yeah. I usually just save it in case I need it, and that way it's like the most effective as possible. But yeah, I found not drinking it, like I'm fine, like I'm not like useless. So I don't know.
I got you.
Yeah, no, but yeah, it's kind of weird how I got into coffee talk. Kind of weird.
We talk about everything, man. I want to know is Bjorn. Bjorn, are you in the chat?
Bjorn?
No, it's Bjorn.
Isn't that the pizza stuff? It's not delivery, it's Bjorno.
A J with an O behind it with 2 dots on top of it is Bjorn.
Bjorn. I don't see him in the chat. I don't know. How do you know? How do you
Well,
figure he's in the chat?
because he liked my comment on Facebook, so I was
Oh.
wondering if he was in here with us. That's why.
He might
He
just
might
not
have been
have
here
a.
earlier.
Yeah, might not have a Twitch account.
This is true. This is true.
But yeah, no, it's this is pretty interesting so far. I'm really enjoying this game. Apparently, Dave's working his way on in, so
That's my boy.
hopefully, I don't know. It's like let's see. So
I just like saying that's my boy to Dave and like
My boy.
him and who else? Freaking oh man, my brain just went stupid. AJ from Mastercast TV. I love it whenever I'm just like my boys.
yeah, I need to do the interview thing with him in a little bit. We were talking about it, but I guess he kind of got busy. But you know, I love talking with him.
There's a Dave in the chat room, bruh.
Oh, he actually entered. How's it going, Dave?
He is muted, but I see him.
Just working on it, getting his mic set up.
The elusive Dave.
Wow, we had a lot of guests on this cast. It went up from none to like 3, or like no guests to 2 in like the span of one episode. So I call that an improvement, if you don't mind me asking.
Oh yeah, that's a major improvement. What's the story there, Dave? Oh crap! He did not just leave the chat. He left the Discord.
Dave has left the building.
He is gone, brother.
He's working on it. He's working on it.
I know.
They've got bad attitudes. They're B.A. Baracus. Bad attitude Baracus. Give her this letter. Letter of introduction. There's some interesting generals. I don't think our U.S. military would allow such hair colors in the ranks, but you know, maybe times changed. I don't know.
Maybe I don't know.
To be honest, I think it'd be kind of cool having like cool colored hairs for our soldiers.
Oh my god!
How rude! Just ripped it up.
All right, look, I gotta take a break for a second. I'll be back in a minute.
I gotcha. I will keep this audience entertained, or maybe not. I don't know.
Good luck to all y'all fine ladies and gentlemen. I'll see y'all in approximately 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Hopefully Dave will come in by then. But yeah, no, yeah, I'm really enjoying this game so far, and these people are extremely rude. I don't know what their issues are. They need to calm down, or else I'm gonna have to battle them and destroy them. But we'll see. Let's see, let's go home. We gotta keep going forward. I will fight them barehanded. Practically told us there aren't secrets. If interest can ignore that. Let's do it. Oh yeah. First quest, first dungeon, salt mines. Let's do it. Alrighty, so I have no idea where to go, so I'm probably gonna embarrass myself. Am I stuck? Okay, never mind. See, not even a couple minutes in, I'm already embarrassing myself. Uh-oh. You gotta fight her, she's the main boss. Gotta take her down. Let's do this. Alrighty, we guess we have to kill that guy. I mean, it's like a side boss thing where we have to kill all of them, like a giant fight. I'm a bit intimidated though, because I'm just this kid and I have to fight this military troops, but you know. Let's do it. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? What is the worst that can happen? I mean, in all reality. Let's do this. Okay. Why are the faces so red? Alrighty. Alrighty, guess we have to fight all three of them. Whatever. That is 3:06 for people that don't do military time. I guess it's just 24-hour clock as well. I don't know. I was always confused on that terminology, but you know, doesn't matter. Point is, they mean 3 o'clock. Right now, it is 13 o'clock where I am, so. Ready? Wow, it's getting pretty far in this video. I'm gonna keep going, guys, till it's disc ends, hopefully, but you know. Or maybe not. We'll see. We'll see. Be nice to do like a nice first let's see into this new patch. Let's kill some slime things. Don't know if he ambushed me or not, but we'll see. Oh, it was an ambush. That's weird. The green slime. Let's kill it. Alright, hit hard on that one. Let's shoot that one. Maybe we should focus on. Okay, maybe it would be best if we focus on all one. There we go. Oh, nice. Wow. This is actually really fun. Alright, good job, me. 4 gold. Looking good. I wish they had the gold count on there. But you know, we can't always have everything. So let's keep going though. See what's going on in the salt ruins. Alrighty. Oh, do I have to fight these guards? I'll talk. Oh yeah. I guess they don't want me to get caught, so I'm not gonna talk to them. Adventure. Lots of buggies in here. But there's something over there, so I'm gonna fight these guys and see if I can get in there and get the get whatever that gold is. Oh, they're baby bats. Okay. Let's do this. Alright. Get heavy hit that thing. Let's also heavy hit that. See if we can get this going faster. Oh, wow. Ouch. Don't disrespect. Take that. Alrighty. Let's see. Do I have any notes to cover anything? Yeah, super mostly. So, another question for you guys in the chat: is there any translations you guys really want to see? I'll probably talk to Sam when he gets back. But is there any translations you'd like to see, try out, and play? Because personally, what I really want to do is Sakura Wars and Princess Crown. Well, I know everybody wants Princess Crown. It looks super fun, and I'd love to beat that game or play it. I think they had an English translation on the one of the PlayStation PSP or something, but and maybe the PS2. I don't know, but I'll have to look into it. Alrighty, so looks like I have to find a way to get across that bridge, get that gold. Maybe I can't, so we'll figure it out. Look over here. Okay, Salt Ruins. Need to figure out how to get up on that thing. Snatcher. That's an interesting one. Snatcher. I definitely can agree with that one. I'd love to see it on the Saturn because it has like a different sound mix. And there's a little different parts here and there, but I would enjoy that. I know the Mega CD one's like really good in my opinion, but you know, I can see the allure of wanting to play it on a Saturn, I guess, especially with Police Knots. Yeah. The soundtrack's also pretty excellent. Well, Police Knots already has a translation, so we're good. Like, Police Knots is already translated to English and is really good on the Saturn. So we're good on that one. I just want Snatch so we can have both Police Knots and Snatcher. And actually, it's kind of funny. Yeah, no, I can understand that. It's really hard to maintain the Sega CD in a way, because it's so easy to break. Like, if you don't have a CD drive that's dying, you have a broken fuse or something that's messed up with the motors. It's one thing after another, which is kind of saddening in a way. But you know, if you take care of it, you can get it running or pay somebody. But you know, probably a little bit easier to have a more reliable system like the Saturn play it. in a way.
What I miss?
Oh crap! You scared me. I thought the game just said something in Japanese really loud in my ear. No, we were talking about what translations we want to see next. I was telling him that he said why no police knots, and I told him that it already has a translation right now.
Snatcher needs one.
That's what
Benjamin.
Secret October said.
Yeah, Benjamin. Honestly, the next translation I really want to see is one I'm currently working on the manual for, which is Gun Griffon 2.
Nerd.
I mean, yeah, I'll take that one on that.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah, I know you're a big Gun Griffon fan, so I can see that you really want to play that one.
Well, the thing is that Gun Griffon 2 never came to the States, and Gun Griffon 1 has a horrible localization. The localization completely destroys the story.
What do you mean?
The localization of Gun Griffon 1 for America and Europe is not the original story. It is a westernized story. If you watch my Gun Griffon retrospective towards the end, I talk about how Sega of America basically butchered the story for all intents and purposes. What they did is that in Gun Griffon originally, you are the Japanese and you are fighting. Oh, did you just lock up?
No, I'm good.
Are you okay? Okay.
The stream's just kind of lagging a bit.
I was about to say we just locked up.
I would laugh and cry because it's kind of like, oh well, I guess I can't play anymore because I forgot to save.
Bulk Slash would be another one I want to see a translation of, which I'm also working on a manual translation. But the thing with Gun Griffon is that the original story has you as a Japanese soldier, and you are fighting Europeans and Americans. Whereas the westernized version has you as an American soldier, a member of the American Expeditionary Force, and you are fighting, the Japanese, basically.
I gotcha. Also, Mr. Zato, is that how you pronounce it? Mr. Zato?
Yeah, that's Rex. That's Rex.
Rex, yeah. He said chain of the Sega CD and 32X have become stupidly expensive. Well, I refer to the Sega 32X as the Knuckles Chaotix add-on pack, because that's pretty much all it's good for playing.
Some people absolutely love it, dude.
What, this 32X?
Yeah, dude. Like freaking AJ loves the 32X.
What
almost
a nerd.
as much as the Jaguar.
No, but the thing is that I love the Sega CD. I don't know, have they gotten really pricey? I mean, I know like the Sega CD when I was looking for it was like $80 to $100, but
it's about 100, 120 right now.
Oh, so it jumped up a little bit, but you know, I mean, I'd see if it like game wise if that's what he meant.
I mean, the games are stupidly expensive. The good ones are, but I mean there's quite a bunch of games that are still pretty cheap to find. It's just hard finding them.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Like, I mean, I barely come across any Sega CD games, and the ones that I want once I get Lunar, it's gonna be extremely expensive, which is kind of a funny thing to say because Lunar 1 and 2 are expensive to begin with.
I mean, you got the new Lunar that's actually getting, the translation. I mean, if I was you, dude, I mean, granted, I'm not a collector, I'm a gamer. So, I mean, for me, I'm just going to wait for the fan translation to come out and play it on the Saturn.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just a big Lunar fan. I have it on the PS1, but I kind of want to get that because I'm a big fan of it, you know?
Yeah, I could understand that. Like I remember renting it back in the day, but I've never owned it.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I mean it's probably one of those games that you probably didn't want to buy back in the day, but rent. But of course, the games are pretty expensive to begin with, so it's like.
Well, I mean, not necessarily. I probably could have found it at the local pawn shop for next to nothing. But the thing with it is that back then I wasn't a huge RPG guy. There was some RPGs I played, but for the most part, I was a first-person shooter, giant robots, some platformers to an extent. But I was really into like 3D games. Like that, the fifth generation for me was all about 3D. I didn't really care about 2D back then.
You just like threw all the 2D games right in the trash. You were like the guys at Sony where it's like 3D or no D.
Well, I mean, the thing is that I mean, like I've said it plenty of times. I'm a fifth generation kid, and the fifth generation was about 3D. Anybody who says otherwise is lying to themselves.
I can see that.
I mean, the fifth generation was 3D. Yeah, there was 2D games, and they were some of the most beautiful 2D games you could have. But the generation wasn't about 2D gaming. It was about 3D gaming. That was, of course, the games have not held up well at all. But I mean, that was when 3D really hit its stride.
It's fair enough. Yeah, and everybody was excited to play those 3D games, you know.
Well, it gave you the ability to go into these open worlds and to do things that, I mean, granted, you could have open worlds to an extent with 2D games. I mean, you have, Legend of Zelda, all
You mean
these
Legend of
RPGs.
Zelda?
Yeah, Zelda, whatever. But my point is that seeing stuff in 3D in open worlds, especially with the sixth generation. The sixth generation is whenever, we didn't just have. See, the fifth generation to me was the most experimental generation. It was whenever 2D was at its height. 3D was really just, catching its stride. And there was all these different types of games that were being produced at the time. And then on top of that, whenever the sixth generation started rolling in, especially with the Dreamcast, you had this huge influx of open world and more interactive games. By the means of interactive, what I'm saying is games like Shenmue, Shenmue.
You mean
Grand Theft
Shenmue?
Auto, yeah, whatever. But games that really they pushed the boundary of what a game was. Because see, like fourth generation and third generation games, you were playing to get to the end of the level, or you were playing to get to a score, or whatever the case was. The fifth generation is whenever it really started becoming about story more so. I mean, like I said, RPGs had story, but let's look past the world of RPGs. Let's look at other types of games. Was there really a story? I mean, if there was, it was normally just thrown in for good measure. I mean,
even some RPGs were that way. I mean, I guess like something like Princess Crown. I don't really know the story is super in depth, right?
I mean, Princess Crown never had a Western localization.
Well, no, it came out on the PSP.
It came out on the PSP in Japan. It never had a Western localization.
I could have sworn it did.
It's not in English.
Huh. I could have sworn it had some, or maybe I'm thinking of something else. I don't know.
Like, it came out in Japan on the PSP. It came out in Japan on the Sega Saturn. Like, it has never had a Western localization. If it did, you'd be able to buy it up on the PSX, up on the PlayStation Network. I promise you.
I gotcha. Well, I wasn't too sure, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, the PSP was certain. I mean, it was on the PSP. It was released in, 2002 or 2004? I mean, it was only released in Japan. That's why whenever people talk about why is it taking so long for Princess Crown, I'm just like, dude, it's not in English. You got to translate the whole game.
Gotta translate everything.
Like, that's why it's taking so long. They're having to translate the entire game.
Gotcha. So Secret October asks, what is your favorite RPG on PS1 or PSX?
That will be a toss-up between Xenogears and Final Fantasy VIII.
8? Really? Over 7?
7 is totally overrated.
I kind of feel the same way with 8. It's like, I'm not a... To be honest, I prefer 9 over 8 and 7, but that's just my opinion.
If I had to do them, it would be 8, 9, and 7.
9 and 7. Ooh, that's bold.
Dude, 7 is overrated beyond all reason. And if you don't like that opinion, that's fine, but that's my opinion.
That's fine. I mean, to be honest, there are better RPGs than 7 on there, but, just more memorable. In my opinion, I really think I loved, I guess the top between both of the Lunars or Final Fantasy, not even Final Fantasy, probably, that was pretty hard. I'd have to get back to you on that one. But no, I think there's a lot of RPGs, and it's hard to nail down which one is probably the best. Right. In my opinion. But, if I had to pick one, I'd probably have to go with some of the Lunar games. Maybe some of the Atlas stuff for like Persona is pretty neat too, so there's just way too much. Oh, or Legend of Mana. Crap, I completely forgot about Legend of Mana.
Oh yeah, that was an interesting one.
Yeah, there's just so many. It's hard. Like, PlayStation was the RPG console back in the day, If it's like it was like the opposite of Saturn, where there's just so many weird ones that got translated, and they got translated even as late as 2002 almost.
Yeah.
Because not only do you have that, you have the Digimon World games, which are also amazing RPGs. You had like I thought it's like that musical one. I can't remember what it was called, like Melody or something. I can't remember the name of that game. But that one was insane. Any of the Atlas stuff that came out. I mean, there's just so much. It's ridiculous, but they're all good. It's a shame that we never. I mean, there's probably even more in the PS1 that was in Japan that we never got.
Oh yeah.
So it's ridiculous. But, you know, PS1 was the RPG console back in the day. If you want to play some good RPGs, get a PS1. And which is sad because I really want that to be the fate of the Saturn. I wanted like all these good Saturn games. There's so many good RPGs on the Saturn. It's ridiculous, but you know, barely any of them got translated.
Well, that was Bernie Stoller that did all that crap.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Barney Stoller screwed a lot of crap up, dude.
He burned the bridges with RPG makers.
I mean, I can't, to an extent, I cannot chastise him entirely because, and people bring this up all the time. So, in fact, someone earlier today did. Someone was sending me a message on my channel page, and they made the comment about how Bernie Stoller basically screwed over America, or screwed over the Saturn rather. And the thing is that Sega of Japan has as much, if not more, of the fault than Bernie Stoller ever did.
Yeah, Sega Japan was also it's just a continuous argument with those guys, and they didn't make the best decisions on top of it.
Well, Sega of Japan should have done what Sony did and leave freaking North America to North America.
Yeah,
That's what they should have done. And I mean, North America was their market. Like that's what saved them to begin with, was the Genesis in America. I know the Genesis and the Mega Drive and the Sega Master System were huge in other markets like Europe and Australia. But I mean, if we're going to be honest here, the money came from America with the Genesis. I mean, they held almost 50% market share at one point.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and it's kind of sad to see that fall from grace. But it's just the loss of the trust of the consumer was like one of the biggest killers. I mean, after the Sega CD, then the 32X, and then the Saturn, was like more hesitation.
Right. I have been wanting to play Valkyrie Profile now that you bring it up. I've never played it though.
Yeah, same here. I have it for the PSP, and it seemed pretty fun, but I just haven't had a chance to play it. I know it's on the PS1, but it's very pricey. I think it's like 120 or something crazy like that.
Right.
So it's not cheap at all, which is kind of saddening. But you know, it's one of those games I'd love to try eventually, though. But there's kind of more games that are like on the list that I want to get for the PS1 before I get that specifically. And even on the Dreamcast, I'm kind of really close to getting my Dreamcast settled game amount. I'm literally missing only a couple more, and then I'm like done. Like I need like a few of the shoot 'em ups on there. I want to get Grandia 2, of course. Want to get Cannon Spike and a couple other ones. But I'm pretty much got everything I want. Like I've gotten, you know, both the Power Stones, both the more MVC games. Like you name it, I probably have it. Like that's generalized, you know.
And I wanted to bring up Princess Crown again because I'm honestly surprised someone hasn't brought it up yet. The deal with Princess Crown and its possible translation is that if you look at it, if you just look at it in and of itself, Princess Crown is extremely playable to begin with because the vast majority of the menus are in English. There's very little in the way of Japanese in that game, except for the story. The story is entirely, you know, Japanese. The text is entirely Japanese. So that's really the issue with it, is that, you know, like I was trying to say, because I just want to kind of clarify that. That's the issue with why it's taking so long, is they're having to translate the entire game.
Now, how playable is that without knowing Japanese? I've seen some gameplay, and it doesn't seem too awful.
It's entirely playable. You just won't have the story. I mean, literally, that's it. The story is the only thing that's in Japanese. The menus are in Japanese. The now loading's in Japanese. the heads up display. I'm calling it a heads up display, but I mean the all the information on screen is in English. I might have said Japanese and messed out all. Everything except for the story is in English.
Dang.
Everything.
I might have to pick that one up though. Or
That,
try it
that,
out.
that that's what I'm saying. The game is extremely playable, but people are always like mad because it hasn't happened yet. And I'm just like, if you want the translation, then they're gonna do it right, and it's gonna be the whole game translated, which means they've got to translate the entire game. Then they've got to figure out a way to get English dialogue into those boxes. Okay, it's not just there's not this trying to put Japanese on the screen. I mean, trying to put English on the screen is not just so simple as I'm gonna put English on the screen. I mean, in this case, they have the entire PlayStation 1 to go off of. They have the game translated already, um, or localized rather. So I mean, that is basically copy and paste. That's simplifying it now. That's very much simplifying it. But in the case of Princess Crown, they don't have a translation to work off of. They have to put it in themselves. They have to put the symbols in there themselves. They have to do everything themselves, and that's a lot of coding.
Man, but it's gonna be worth it when that's like perfected in a way. Once we get that out there.
I
And then
got you.
Dave makes an English reproduction cover of that.
Dude, I would love it. He makes awesome work.
Yeah, shouts out to Dave with his amazing Saturn work. It's like ridiculous the work he does. It's so good. Also, this lady seems interesting. And I got this mixer and it's been so useful. I've been able to listen to like the game audio and you, Sam, and like lower and raise the volumes and just centralize everything into that one mixer.
Right. I need to get one for me whenever I finally get back to streaming, but it's just not a priority at the moment.
Yeah, it's not even for the stream itself. It's just mostly for me, so that way I can have the game audio routed through my headphones, have you routed through my headphones and the computer audio, and be able to mix them up and listen to both at the same time, so that way I can play the game and do that without any worries and checking for stuff. Of
Yeah,
course, I have to check the levels still, but on the computer end. But it's one little thing.
I got you.
I just wish I was able to easily centralize, like feed the audio from here into the recording and just use that for the stream. But it's just like the capture card's out of sync with what I'm seeing, so there's gonna be some lag regardlessly, which is kind of a bummer.
Right, right, right. Well, gentlemen, I have got to head on out. My little daughter needs some attention, and I need to finish up a video. I've had a couple people ask me if I'm reviewing it. It's not necessarily going to be a review. It's going to be basically my experience with it so far. Um, y'all have seen what we have so far. Those of y'all who have been here, this is in my opinion, this is an absolutely astonishing piece of work that we have right now. I have not been disappointed whatsoever by any of my experiences, whether it be my personal experience or yours during this stream. So I have a lot of high hopes for this. I would absolutely love to see this happen before the end of the year, and I think that it might happen.
I'm gonna one up you. I think I know what's gonna happen. We're gonna be able to play this game Christmas, right underneath the tree. We're gonna like wake up, come out of our beds, rub the tiredness out of our eyes, go underneath the Christmas tree, and what's sitting there in that chair underneath that tree? An English copy of Grandia, shining and beautiful, and able to be played in English 100%.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. But gentlemen, this is the SSG. I'm signing out. Handing it over to you, Pat.
Sounds good. You know what? This is probably a good stopping point too. So I think I'm gonna save up and we'll give it call it a rest for now.
Roger that, brother. Well,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess for Sega Saturn Shiro, I'm going to jump the gun on you, brother. For Sega Saturn Shiro, this has been the SSG and Mr. Pat, Delando Beckett. We out the game. Peace.
Peace.